Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at PyInstaller in Python. So what is PyInstaller? Well, it's a module that saves your code to an executable file so that you can run it without Python installed. It compiles your Python code and generates an exe file. And it has many advantages over other examples of modules that do this. The first one is it works out of the box. It works on multiple platforms, which is super useful. It bundles all of these packages and it works with many third-party libraries. So to start, we're just going to write a program that we can use to install. So I'm going to install GUI, PyDub, and PyInstaller. And you can see, I've already got all of them installed. So the first thing we're going to do is just import things. So from GUI, we need GUI and GUI parser. From PyDub.playback, we need to import play. From PyDub, we need to import audio segment. So then what we're going to do is we're going to define a program and it's going to have the name music player and it's just going to play music. And so we need to pass our arguments, which is why we've got the GUI wrapper, and we'll have a parser, which is a GUI parser, and its description will be play music. And we need to add an argument, and it's going to be song, and the widget for this is going to be file chooser, so you pick a specific song. The helper is going to be song to play, and we're just going to set some options so that the wildcard is MP3 files, and then we need this bar, so star.mp3, and we're going to set the default directory to the current directory. And when we pass it, we're just going to return parser.parse args. In the main part of the code, we're going to say if the name is main, our args are parse args. The song is args.song. And then we convert it to an audio segment. So it's taking an audio segment from MP3 song, and we just play the song. This is very simple. We have this UI here where you select a song. You can see it's not an extremely extravagant UI. And then we convert it to an audio segment and play it. And obviously we can just check that it works by running it. And you can see that I've reused the music folder from a previous video. So we can just select a song and play it. Of course I have the audio muted so you can't actually hear the song playing. But we've created the code. The code itself isn't the important bit. The interesting bit is what comes next. So we'll just type PyInstaller main.py, and you can see that it will do lots and lots of things to convert this MP3 file into an exe file. And you can see a bit of time later, everything's installed. And actually, if we look in the build, there are a few things in here. But if we look in the dist, in the main folder, you can see, if we scroll all the way down to here, we have our main.exe file. And actually, if we run that, you can see that we've got the program here and it's all working. However, there are a few things that we could change. The first thing that we're going to look at is that if we scroll all the way down to main.exe, it's actually got the PyInstaller as the logo. So what we can do is we can recompile it and say the icon is icon.ico, and you see here we've got this icon.ico file, and it has to be an ICO file because that's the only format that PyInstaller will accept. And you can see it was a lot quicker this time because of using the cache. And if we open it up again and scroll down, you can see that we've now got the logo in place. So there are other options as well, and actually if we type in -- help at the end, we can see all of the options. And unsurprisingly, there are loads. And if we look at one of the interesting ones, is that there's this windowed and no windowed. And here you wouldn't notice that we're using a window. If we type in explorer dis/main/main.exe, you can see that it opens this window. And actually, if you sent to someone this program, it will be very irritating having a window popping up each time. So we can look at the flag, and it says the flag we need is -w. So we can reinstall it with -w. Another thing is that we've got loads and loads of these files. And you can see that one thing we could do is install the whole thing as a single file. And that would be a lot better, I think, rather than having all of these DLLs that have appeared in the directory that if you sent to someone, they would probably think you had sent them a virus. We can add a -w and a capital F at the end. And one of the things with arguments is you can just put them next to each other. You don't have to worry about them being in any specific order. And we'll let it compile itself again. And we can see it's installed again. And if we look in the dist directory, we've got everything from before, but we've also got this main.exe file. There's one other thing that I use a lot and I find is useful. Obviously, as we've seen, there are loads and loads and loads of different options. But the final one is N, and this is a very small thing that allows you to rename your executable file. So I've put in music, and you'll see that means it rebuilds it and it calls it music.exe. If we didn't have the music.exe as a single file, it would create a directory called music. And I think this is just a bit nicer and more relevant. And we've also got this music.spec file because it's now called music rather than main. And we can see that it's all compiled again. And we can just run music.exe, and we can see that we've got the program running, and we can just select a song to play and it works exactly the same as it did before. So you can see that PyInstaller is a very useful tool to compile exe files. It has loads and loads of options, and it means that you can write code and send it to someone who doesn't have Python installed. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, you've learned how to use another cool module, and I'll see you again, same time, next week. Till then.